hold it. You must have a nice long tag in, and you make one ring. But the key is your braid must all be at the top like that. There must be no loop at the bottom. So all your lines at the top, including your tagging. So I'm going to hold it like that. Okay? So just a loop like that, big fat loop, and keep everything on one side, on the right side. And then what you do, your tagging, depending on the thickness of your braid, 6 to 8 times through. So if it's thick braid, 6, very thin braid, 8 times through the loop. And then all you do is pull it tight, and that's your uni. Okay, very, very simple and very, very strong. So on this hook, I'll show you with braid how it works. And all these knots, when you sit at home, just practice it. Your fingers got to get used to doing it. You know, we do it and it looks easy, but until you do it yourself, your fingers are a bit stupid until they get used to it. Big loop, tag in there, and 6 times through. I think you guys 7. Doesn't matter. It's 6 to 8 times. And then you pull it up. And as you see, that locks. It doesn't move a millimeter. Whereas if you do the 3 of 8 or the clinch knot with braid, it'll just slip. You know.
So there's specific knots for braid.
Yeah. So braid, uni knot. When you go to your saw, use the uni knot. There's no other. Not to worry. Only the one uni knot. And you see, I'm pulling this and it's not going anywhere. Small knot, strong. Okay. One of you want to try the uni knot? Very, very easy. Give it a go. Okay.
One of the 6 going to go with 6
with the nylon. Sure. Give it uni knot the go. Please. Give you okay. You get something nice long thing. See, when you learn knots, don't and try and say. No, that's fine. Listen, a long tagging, and then make it easy for yourself. With wings in your arms and standing in front of it. That's it, yeah. You get it right. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. And it's easy, eh? Yeah.
I won't put a chain on. The only time I do a chain is something you can't see. That's the only time I do a chain. And that's the only thing that
very easy. That's all you have to know. Right, so I think I'll finish off the yield thing. Okay. Right, so the next thing guys battle with a lot is joining braid to braid. So now you're fishing and your line's got a wing knot and you want to join your braid together. We want to tie your leader to your braided leader or your nylon leader to your braid. So I'll show you guys the easy way of doing it. I'm going to do it with a braid. If it's too small, just tell me and I'll do it with a rope. So once again, braid to braid is the same really. That's what makes it so easy. So braid to braid, there's 2 knots we use, uni to uni and FG. FG is the difficult one I showed you. This is the easy one. So your braid's broken now, you want to join your braid.
So sorry, FG will work for braid to braid.
It works very well, but it's not easy. Yeah. But this is easy. And always remember, with your knots braid to braid, after you pull it as hard as you can. If it breaks, just redo it. Because every now and then you'll get a knot that slips. It does happen with this specific knot. Every now and then one breaks. So don't panic, just redo the knot. So that's why you pull it as hard as you can. If it doesn't break, it's good. Yeah. So same knot, uni knot on the one side. And I always pull them quite slowly so they're not set. And then you go to the other side and do exactly the same. Then you
ideally you want to eliminate that. It's similar to the one that the guy made overseas the T and still that long. So very similar.
pull the two knots together.
Why I like
And that's very strong now.
so this is my carryover. So it's much more.
And once again, the second knot.
And the circle. I saw overseas, you know.
And it's such a small little knot.
But
Even when you cast it through your guides, it won't break it. And on these knots, I always leave a small bit of a tagging, 2 mils, just for in case it slips a little bit while you're fighting a fish or something. Only on my leader knot that I cast to the guys on top of flush, but if this is on my reel, I'll leave it like 2 mil. Yeah, it doesn't matter. 2 mil tagging. So I think this is like a 30-pound braid, so I have to put it 15 kilos to break it. It's way more than 15 kilos. Strong.
Shorty? You'll have a sardine
Easy.
or something for me.
You think you guys will get there? Eh?
A sardine or
Yeah.
something
Alright.
similar.
So now the last one I'm going to show you guys
And then I'm going to leave this for from
is your leader line to your braid. So when we use this knot, for rock and surf, we use a braided leader. So that's normally where you would do the uni knot or the FG. But when we spin, so with the guys doing spinning with lures, from your braid you always go directly to your fluorocarbon. You've got like a 1 meter little fluorocarbon leader and then your lure. So this is where we use this knot. So I use the FG, but for my clients that can't do the FG, the knot that you hear is 2 knots we've done already. It is a figure of 8 to uni knot. So we do the figure of 8 on the nylon and the uni on the braid. So it's very simple. Uni knot again to your nylon.
So I like a longer trace with sea doctors. And you have the case for the one knot. Actually, not the conversation.
Put it tight so it pinches.
Then you become 1.4, 1.5. The normal everything.
And then on the nylon, from your nylon to your braid,
Normal, the sugar down there.
we just do a figure of 8. Exactly the same as we do on the from behind, little loop, hold it, from behind, little loop, hold it, push it through from behind. You put it a bit tight and then you join the two.
Obviously, now remember the hook sizes. Getting some.
And then you go to join between your braid and your nylon. Then you just cut everything nice and short and it's clean. Do you guys understand that? It's the same knots we use for the hooks, just joining the leaders. You can, Albright works too, yeah. I just don't, you know, yeah, so the Albright is a nice long knot as well, yeah. But there you go. Your braid, your... Any other knots you guys want to see? FG, should I show you the FG?
Got the FG, I'm just not sure if I'm finishing it off correctly, so maybe if you could just show us how you do it. That's something I've been practicing well.
Okay, so it's hard to talk while I do it, but I put it in my mouth. Yeah. So one very important thing about an FG, your braid has got to be under a bit of tension. So some guys do it in their hand, but I bite mine in my teeth and then I plait it. So it's under a bit of tension. Something else that's very important is the angle at which you do this knot. You've got to try and do it at like a 90-degree angle. Don't try and do the knot with a straight braid. Then it gets very difficult. So I'm going to bite this in my teeth, I'm going to pull it there, and I'm going to make the knot at an angle. So stand here. You guys can come closer. I think come stand quite close and see what I do with this braid. Once again, the nylon that I'm tying the knot with, wrapped around my hand, says under tension. There's nothing that can slip here because I'm going to pinch this onto the braid. Okay, so this goes, I bite this in my teeth. Here's my angle. So I go over, I just put it on top. And all I do now is I'm going to plait. Go from this side over, just watch my hands. And pinch. Every single time I do this, I pinch everything here. And you guys see that. So I'm literally just taking it over and over. Always from the same. Going underneath over. And then back. Underneath over.
About how much time do you do those?
2 minutes. Yeah, I don't even count. I just feel like a simple. And not huge tension, just enough tension so everything's not floppy.
And you have to have good teeth.
Okay, so after you've done that, hold everything still, don't let go of anything. The one that the tag in, the one that was your mouth, over both lines. Just half inch, going knot. And that's basically the FG done. But I test the FG 3 times. So I've done this now, and look what the knot's going to do now when I pull it.
If I had to take that situation, I'll pull it like that.
It sort of clinches onto the, it's hard to see with it. But see how tight it is on there now, it's clinched onto the nylon. It's like fused.
The one is there, one is there, it doesn't matter.
And that's what you want, that it needs to like fuse into the nylon and hold. Then you know your FG is right. And all I do from here,
So whether it comes to this way, or
there's lots of ways to finish it off. I'm lazy, I'm a lazy fisherman, so I just go 5 times over. Put it tight.
because I remember the easy way to remember is which way comes
Just push that thing, right?
you put it further to that, like facing that way, and you come there.
Over both.
Very similar.
No, I test it again.
Can I please have a back question? Okay, so that's the way on the
So those knots are dead, so I'm going to pull them down, make sure they...
rider or you difference.
And that's it.
Okay,
So there is a way of finishing it off,
We can arrange
which the guys do. I'm trying to think how it works. It's like a reverse knot. They go like that, over both, and they wrap it. It's like a reverse uni. I don't do it, so I'm not used to doing this one. So 6 times over like we did with the uni. And then you pull this knot back towards the...
And you can turn that.
And you get it to sit
Yeah,
nicely.
if you got them on the happy, you can.
So that's one way of finishing it off. So it's like a reverse uni knot. Runs back and then it won't untie. But I don't even do it. I'll go 5 times and that's it, done.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, that's good to know because if you watch YouTube, they can overcomplicate that.
Way too
I
much.
do that on my
Yeah. So that's a FG knot. The main part is that first part, that clinching part, the plait. You want it nice and tight. Also, you see it's like hard. I'm going to put it so it sits. Every little loop must sit on it. Yeah. So, and this is just practice. So I find the easiest way for me to do the FG knot is I'm on the beach, my rod's in the rod hold on the sand, lines to the guide, and I hold my teeth, because then you got that play of your tip doing that, and then you do that knot. So just practice it, very easy. If you go on YouTube, there's a million ways. You know, the guys do it in their hands. I can't do that with one of my hands. It's too complicated. Yeah. For me, this still want to do it.
I try pull through my rod, I make a loop on that thing, tie it around my handle.
Yes.
So there's permanent tension there.
Yes.
So that eliminates me holding my teeth. And then I just have to have both my hands up. That I found is the easiest way.
Yeah. Alright. Any other knots you guys want to see? You want to try something? Try any knots? You guys happy? You think you'll do those? So it's simple. It's the clinch knot, the first one we did 6 times around through, uni knot, and the figure of 8. Those are the 3 you need there. And then braid to nylon, uni on the braid, figure of 8 on the nylon. Simple stuff, yeah. And they're all good, strong knots. You know, if you know them, you can go fish anywhere. Okay. Can Michelle show us a few traces now? So, when it comes to traces, it's the same story. There's like a million traces out there. But keep it simple in the beginning. Basic traces. We do, as professional fishermen, we do a basic scratching trace, a basic pop trace. And when it comes to edible fishing, and you can catch almost anything with it. Guys can overcomplicate it with fancy little things. Don't worry about it. When you start fishing, do the basics first, and then you get more advanced. But 9 out of 10 times, you don't need all that stuff. Some of your top anglers in the country, if you go watch them fish, keep it simple and basic. And that's how they catch fish. Because it's only the trace. There's a lot of other things that determine that they're catching the fish ball.
Sorry, Rudolph, can you show us a Bimini twist knot for using with your multipliers?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I keep on forgetting about this because I use it so little these days. Okay. I'm going to go do that side. So I do it with my knee. Okay, I'll do it here on the floor. Okay, so the Bimini twist, we still use it for freshwater. We use it as a shock leader. So when we fish barbel and stuff for lure, we use quite a thick nylon, and the Bimini twist is our shock leader because it creates a shock. And then we use this on nylon. When you attach your nylon leader to your nylon for your multiplier reels, the boating guys still use it. Okay, it's called a Bimini twist. Big loop.
So I use it for my, let's say for my leader on 31, coming up, I'll go.
Wrap it around my hand like this. Big loop. My hand open, and I just twist my hand 21 times. And it must be 21, so it's very important, I didn't even count. So you go 21 twist, and then what I do it over my knee. I put that big loop over my knee like that. Take it 2 tag ends, pull gently, and let the knot run down. And when it's under tension, let go this side. Let it run down and you catch it. Hold everything. A half inch knot on that side. Half inch on that side. And that's a Bimini twist. So I normally just twist it up like that. Take a knot. So this, the advantage of this Bimini twist is you're going from a thin line, you've made it nice and thick, and now you can join it to another thicker leader. So it makes this not easy. Because to tie this straight onto a thick leader is impossible. It won't hold, it'll break. So now you've created this thicker nylon to tie onto a thick leader. So I just tie this figure of 8 on both sides and holds. And then as you can see, this is spring loaded. So it takes a lot of tension off your line. If you're fighting a big fish, you've got that play. It takes a lot of pressure off your knots and off your hook and everything. So very nice spring loaded, and you've got the step down basically from thick line to this to your thinner main line. Just a nice strong knot as well. But we mainly use it on our multipliers. On the boat you'll use it for your leader knot, but from nylon to your nylon leader. Is that how you do yours?
I don't know that, not at all. That's supposed to be.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm still very basic.
Yeah. So we just don't use it much anymore because we all fish braid now. It's a very important knot to know if you fish in nylon. Yeah. Do you think you guys will be able to do it? It looks complicated, but it's easy. I'll do it once more.
That's on your brain.
If everything twisty after, you must just take all the twists out and twist it up the line. So once again, big loop, hold the loop there, 21 times. Keep the loop open, put it over your knee, grab the two ends here. And just pull it down. Under tension. So when you can feel that's under tension, take the tag in, hold it at an angle, and release slowly, and it winds itself up. Till it's there, and you just grab it. Hold everything, and then half each over each side. So there's the knot there. It's quite easy. And you just finish it off. I like to twist it so it's all neat. Tie it up like that, and then you tie your leader on from there. Simple. Okay. Right. Here, you do your thing.
Little bit of multi-purpose scratching case that I normally use when I'm scratching off the brick. So generally I go with the size 6 three-way swivel.
Sorry, Kiri. What you mean by scratching? When we say scratching, we're fishing for edible fish. So that's when we're fishing between the rocks in the whitewater. So we call it scratching. So that's like a general term for fishing for edible fish. Yeah.
And I use a 30-pound fluorocarbon. So size 6 three-way swivel and a size 2 hook. So the way I normally tie it, I've shown you all the figure of 8. So he did 2 loops. I normally just wrap 3 loops around my finger. 3 loops. These hooks are a bit too sharp for me. Okay, so that's my figure of 8 on there. So what I tend to do when I'm fishing for edible, smaller edible fish, I make my tag in a little longer. So after I make my figure of 8, I just wrap my tag in along the rest of the line a little bit. About 5 times should be enough. And then make a little loop. And then I push the hook through the loop after. And then pull this a little tighter. So the reason I do that is sometimes while you're stretching in between the brick, you might hook a bronze beam or something. So when the fish grabs it, sometimes you'll see that you might get bitten off. So by making that loop, it makes it a little bit more stronger. So when the bream bites on, it may just cut a little one part of the line off, but it's still tied. So you're not going to lose the fish or takes your hook and it's gone. So I do that. And cut the tag end off. Generally I don't make them too big. I just measure them just above my elbow. That's how I generally measure my scratching trace. If not, it's you measuring on a tape, it's 30 centimeters. That's there. Do you use a float? This is a 12 mil. That's what I prefer to use. It's not too big and it's not too small. So depending on the current and how the water is as well, if the current's too rough, then I tend not to use the float. If the water is a bit more calmer, I use the float. Reason being, if there's too much of current in the water, your bait's going to float around too much using the float. So same with the power swivel again, figure of 8.
I'll show you two of the competitions and two of my favorite work for you. I'll show you a good. I'll show it to you guys, and then if you want me to, I'll show you the whole one.
If you don't make the second knot on your hook, how would the float affect on the bait?
Meaning?
You see the
The
stops,
knot where I
yeah.
looped it, yes.
If you don't have that knot,
You don't have to, I just use it so a fish doesn't, just as a precaution for me, so that a fish doesn't bite me off.
okay, and the float effect have any different effect?
No. That's it. So also what I normally do is, before I put this onto my main line, I use a small piece of shock leader. So when you're scratching in the brick, it's not scratching your hook snoot, so it doesn't rub off on there. So your shock leader will take a bit more of the hit on your trace. And then, so meaning now you tie a piece of shock leader, and then you put another swivel at the top, which will go to your main line. So you'll just use the single swivel.
Is that on shade as well, or is still going to steel?
Steel.
Alright, steel.
Still steel. Shad's technically going to take your entire trace if you're using a normal motor. So that's my go-to scratching trace if I'm not getting anything else. Works, blacktails, carotene, the bronze bream, it works quite well.
That's your hook line. How long is your line with your sinker?
So generally, my normal hook itself is about 30 centimeters. So I've measured it now that I've got so custom. My 30 centimeters is just above my elbow. So that's 30 centimeters. And when I tie my sinker line, it's just a first length below the hook.
Okay. Sorry, just how short is it?
Sorry?
Your sinker line.
No, your sinker line is just the first length below your hook.
Oh,
I know for shad sometimes the guys fish a little shorter sinker line. Yeah, so for me, the little longer sinkers may work. So I normally use your bottle sinkers when I'm scratching in between the brick. A bottle or a cone. So if you're fishing for bream, I normally use between a 3 to a 4 ounce bottle sinker. Works perfectly.
One here, two here, one here, and one here. So,
Then another similar trace, but I normally use a circle hook. But I'm going to show it to you all on a J. I think most guys are more comfortable fishing with a J hook than a circle. For me, I prefer the circle hooks. I tend to miss the fish sometimes on the J hook. But that's my preference, so same. Figure of 8, So when I'm fishing for carp, I generally use a size 6 hook. Sorry, not size 6, 6 hook.
On all of your traces, do you use the 3 sword?
3-way swivel, yes. So on my carp traces, I use a 4x5 combination.
Okay.
So I'll show you an example on my double hook trace that I have. So same as that, but it's just that I don't do the twist on my carp trace. So carp trace, measure it out. This my carp trace that go a little bit longer than my smallest spatching trace. So with this carp, we're generally fishing for it at night. So I use the 12mm Lynx Green Bead because it glows. Shine your headlamp on it a bit, put your chopper bait out, and gets you a bite. It goes in. I'm just using a bit of a bigger swivel now. So it's a simple chase, just using normal figure of 8 knots. So on my J hooks, I use the figure of 8 knots. When you're using a circle hook, I normally snell the hook. So I'll show you one that I have now. So even with this, when you tie your sinker line, I generally go a first length below. Yes. So a first length below. So that's my 2 go-to traces that I use. So the other trace, this is with a circle hook. So it's also, I call it my double hook carp trace. So same, you've just got tying 2 hook snows. So on your swivel, you're going to do the figure of 8 like we did on the other trace. On the circle hook now, we snell the hook on the shank of the hook. That's there. And on your swivel, it's a 4x5 swivel, so this is a bit different to the one that I used here. So generally when you're doing this, the one that swings around is where you tie your hook snows. And then the one with the bigger eye on it, that's where your main line or your shock leader gets tied to. And then the smaller one at the bottom will run your body to tie your second hook snout and your single line. Those are my simple traces.
So for blacktail, we use a little ball.
Yeah, this will work for blacktail as well. So you don't have to do the little zip. If you can just tie your normal figure of 8 on, put your floated bead on, and your swivel. Easy. Okay.
Sorry, can I ask you just to show me the second one?
This one, yes.
Or 9 hook, all depending on the size of the fish that's around. And then, so that's what we're going to use here. This is the HO. And then, this is what we call a scallop hook, but you'll understand it adds up on the trace. The scallop hook is normally a 3 or a 2, and I want it a bent tie. And you'll understand why I want it bent tie as the trace go along. But you can make this running trace like what you're saying. For me personally, I just like a fixed 4x5 combination power swivel, strong enough for me. Okay, yeah, anything from a 50-pound hook snout, I generally won't go higher than 80. This trace is normally about a meter or just under a meter. same. I'm just going to start from my hook snoot. So I'll tie my HO, same as what we spoke about before as the wishbone. Sorry, I'm going to add on that here. And you'll see exactly why when we go on. Okay, very simple. Figure of 8 on the HO. I'm going to slide my scallion hook, what we call the scallion hook, but I'm going to put it from the back. So I want you to sit that way on the hook.
And there must always be an offset one, eh?
Offset, yeah. Specifically offset, but I'll show you exactly why. This hook I don't tie it.
Okay.
I leave that running. Okay, same as what we spoke about just now, the spinning swivel. Tie my normal figure of 8 there. Look, you can play around with this trace length. I generally make it a meter and then drop it. At worst case, you see it very bad, I drop it to like 50 centimeters. That figure of 8, lock. That's your trace done. Obviously, guys, remember your shock leader and from there, whatever else you spoke about. Okay, a bit of surfboard foam or high density foam. And so this here, I'm going to shape it what I call a coffin shape. I'm going to make it a little bit pointy at the top. And then slightly, it's going to be a little bit pointy, but not too much at the bottom. So basically that's the shape there. Just going to trim it a bit down. And then I'll shape it that way as well. So with the support foam, it's soft enough that you can just basically, press it so it takes shape of what you want. So that's the ideal shape I like. Guys have their own preference on the style and shape, but that's what works for me. So another tip we use is the glass bass rattle. You get different brands, different sizes. I like this is a bit too big, but the large normally works. But I'm going to use that for now because that's what I have here.
Did you guys learn something?
Okay. So the tip behind the foam, you hear how it amplifies it. So you can hear that rattle now, it's not making a lot of noise. I'm just going to split that foam in half. So I just cut off the little slither there. On the thicker side, I'm going to take my scissors and make a cave for the glass rattle to fit in. So you can use a knife, you can use a scissors. It's just easier to use the scissors. So that's all it is. Cob. Stumpy, cob, those type of species. Okay, where did I do that glass rattle? Okay, so once I created that cave or insert, I'm going to take this and push it into the foam, and then I'm going to take the other piece that I cut off and place it on top. Then I'm just going to grab my cotton again, and I'm going to cotton it together. So normally I will add much more cotton here, but I don't think you guys want to see me stand here and cotton the whole time. So I'm just going to stop here quickly. Okay, can you hear the difference now? How much that high density foam amplifies the vibration. So that you guys know cob feeds off vibration, off scent. So the whole natural line and dots on the side will pick this up very fast. That's why you always see guys standing on the beach doing this. They are shaking it either because they got a rattle or they got this beads here that also by knocking here also creates a noise and a vibration. Okay, so very simple. I'm going to slide that back up there. That's going to be the front of my hook. My rule is the tip of the barb there, I want my foam to sit there at the tip. So I'll go through the cotton that I already cotton on there, push it till it sits in line there, and then I'll come in with cotton again and cotton to the foam. generally I use a thick latex here, but I'll just grab whatever cotton is in my bag. The thick latex and doubling it makes it a lot easier to work with. Okay. So now when it comes to the bait, can I have a bit of paper there? Newspaper or any piece of paper? So I'll build my bait here, and then this hook running free, I'll just basically come into the bait. So I'll have a nice big body here with the flesh of the chukka, and then a nice tail over there. Then I'll just come in with my, what we're calling our scallop hook, and I'll just put it lightly through the skin there, turning it around. And that's the reason why I wanted a bend tie. So it sits nice on the foam. So I'll show you off paper here quickly what more or less it would look like. So I'll basically cut a big V of my chukka. This is very rough, guys. So okay, so I'll split this here into two legs. This is a lot easier to work with chukka than paper. But you guys will get the idea of it. So I'll have two feelers there and then just a V here. So I'll mesh that part here. I'll actually measure it from my foam. So that part there would be the actual part of the base that I want to put on here. Would be the length of the foam. And then I'll just cotton that on first. I'll cotton that on first there, leaving the legs to hang around there. So if you can picture the chukka, that's what it would look like there, with the legs hanging over. And then I'll take another, just a square or rectangular piece of chukka, make it to not absolute pulp, wrap it around there, and then cotton it.
Then mix the red or mackerel that you use bait chukka.
You can. I like to fish a plain chukka, plain white chukka bait, but you can take a bit of red eye and slap it on the side, a cutlet, a sardine, if you want to add a bit of flesh, but that normally attracts the peppers faster. Which also sometimes a good thing, because every time the pepper hits his bait, it's just going to create more havoc in the water.
And wouldn't other fish around your bait attract?
It will, but also it also would attract other fish being positive to come and see what's there.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, cob, I presume, is a predator.
Yeah.
So more fish around your bait.
Yeah, but then also remember you're fishing a chukka bait and that's a live bait. You also is going to be chasing the live bait. It's also it's you get too technical sometimes. You just
What's
get off.
the purpose of that scallop hook?
So generally we get the smaller cob, that 2 kilo, 3 kilo, 4 kilo range, and we call them snatch cob. So what they'll do is come and they'll grab the back end of the foam and then miss those completely. So when they come and grab here, that hook grabs him every time.
But the hook is not locked down, so when you miss the fish,
They will come. Can't go more than it. And that's me pulling as hard as I can. Even if it does break through everything,
still locked in there.
it will go sit on the figure of 8 there. It won't go past that.
And you aren't using any steel then?
No. You can put a bit of a bite, because grays do charge it a lot sometimes. But you can put a bit of bite, but when you're specifically targeting something, I just go. You can put a small bite. Sometimes I do that 55-pound bite on it. But generally if I'm targeting cob, that's what I'm looking for, that's what I use. So that's my live bait trace, that's my cob trace, this is my double hook trace. Coming back to what I told you I would do with that trace. Okay, so here I will just cut basically, my knife is sharp enough, I'll work. So basically I'll cut 3 strips of chokka like this. Chokka, baby squid, Patagonian squid. I'd even do it with oki if I get big enough okis. I cut the thicker part of the oki and I'll split it down the center. And then I'll turn it into tentacles, what we call tentacles. Right, so your ideal shape is you want it to be V'd on both sides. Not as thin of that, so I'll actually cut the tentacle about that thick. Just enough that the hook it goes through and has a bit of meat on either side. So that's the thickness, obviously V'd on either side. It's cottonless bait, fast bait. All we do is take our first strip and I'm pinning it off center. Alright, so I'll pin that, I'll let it go over. The next strip, remember guys, same as what I said, thinner, V'd at the end. I'll go center, next strip, center again, and then the first strip that I pinned off center, I'll come to the longer side and I'll pin it over. So that there becomes like a mini octopus bait.
And no cotton on that.
Sorry, no cotton. Remember, it's no cotton, I'm not tenderizing it, not softening the bait whatsoever, it's a hardy bait. Here it's just about the movement. It's just about the movement. So that there is videos out there. Rudolph, can you post our old videos on our chat group of the bait demonstration of the tentacle bait and the cob bait and stuff? We got it, I think either Shotty or one of the guys got it. Because the guys want to see the baits as well.
The one that you did here last time.
Yeah. The one myself and my unit did down. I think I also got it on my GoPro, so I'll send it to Shotty.
Send me and do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll upload that.
Yeah.
So that's basically a tentacle bait.
And you'll do both the same bait on both the hooks.
If you wanna fish 2 different baits, you can. Generally, I just fish both tentacle baits.
Same thing.
Yeah. If it was what I normally like to do is I'm fishing reef. I'll cut the red eye head down, just down the center, no dangle. I'll cotton the red eye head. That basically lips open. I'll cotton it and then I'll turn it, cotton it like how we normally cotton a shad bait, and put myself through that using the cotton to hold it. And then I'll just put it through the lip there, through the other side of the lip, and I'll throw it as is.
What you intend catching with just a little
Red eye head rocker. You get rocker, you get lantern.
You don't have to close it every time.
You can build it up by putting cutlets and whatever into it. Not necessary. I like to fish plain. So that is the 2 traces there. If you guys want to talk about bream traces, Kelly, did you make a bream trace? So this year when fishing with bream is just where's the combination for?
So you'd have these traces ready made before you get to the beach.
Yeah. So this is what my actual trace pouch looks like. I'll have different variations. Obviously white, if I want to stay with chokka baits, white. These are also glow hooks. I'll just have variant from anything from an 8-0, so I'll go 8-0, 7-0,
Now
5-0, 6-0.
when you twist the line and you put them into these pouches, doesn't it develop memory?
It does. On fluoro it will, but just
But mono
as you
also
said on fluoro,
develops.
yeah, but even on mono, you do that and it's
Stretch it out.
straight.
So these are glow hooks.
Glow hooks, yeah. I like to use that because of the white of the hook as well, and I'm fishing a white bait, so keeping everything in line. I'll use I've got 2 hooks, mate. I just need that hook. Okay, so
So for edibles, you're basically fishing between 30 and 50 pound braid.
for edibles, depending on the size, 30 pound is more than enough.
30 pound.
Yeah, 30 pound. I like 30 pound just to reach that longer banks and stuff. I'll stick with a 30, 32 pound rope. That's my preference. As I said, everyone has their own preference. You have to find what suits you. A lot of guys like the DNA.
How much a line do you have on that?
Sure.
Approximately.
Even to tell you, Evert,
What size is that?
on this is a 6,500. Is Evert here?
Should be around 550, 600.
No, it's over 600. On the 32 pound, it's over. I think it's about 700.
0.1 something.
The 30, the 42 is 0.14. I think 32 is 0.12. Check the 32 pound hook. I just took some spools out for myself there. It's lying there. Okay, so the bream trace, I don't make it as long as the cob. So if you look at it, that's about 30 centimeters. Same with the spinning swivel there. But here I use a 5x6 combination instead of a 4x5. On the other cob traces I use 4x5. Same story, but now we're using the orange bead. The bream likes this orange color. You get various size.
It's a float.
Yeah. Float bead. Same difference. So here, you get different sizes. This is a 12 millimeter. What I noticed recently is the smaller bead. There's a small bead, I think that's 8 millimeter or 7 millimeter. I think Rudolph also has it. Been working way better. Way, way better. Okay, so here you can go anything from a 1/0 to a size 2. 32. Sorry, this is 0.1. Not 1, 2, 0.1. So you can go anything from a bait holder size 2 to a 1/0. Alright, depending what's around. Like if you're interested in catching that blacktail and all in between as a bycatch, you can go with a size 2. Demonstration purposes.
So that's a JO.
JO. You can fish circle as well for bream. If I'm fishing circle, I'll fish a 2/0, which I actually bought now. Rudolph, can you throw me the Berkeley Fusion that's on the table there, 2/0? That's my favorite bream hook. That and then the owner cutting point 1/0. It's a sharper. But if I'm fishing prawn, I like to use the long shank with the bait holder. Did Shotty already pack it away?
Yeah, she's on the way.
That fishing shirt, gentlemen. This is what I like to use for bait. If I'm fishing circles. Sorry.
You don't have to lock that.
The bead. The bead, you can put what we call a gummy stop through there. If you really want to, you can decide if you got 8 there to stop where the bead you want it. Okay, so with this trace here, I'm going to make a very long tie again, and I'll show you why, because I'm going to create a bit of protection. Here my hook float is 30 pound. Just a normal figure of 8, 3 loops there. But remember, I want my tie again to be super long. Okay, longer than that would be better. I'm going to lock the knot there, and then now I'm just going to take the tag in and make a twist. This is going to create a bit of protection and a bit of an anchor point for my bream chase. Okay, just a bit of a granny knot. Over here, granny knot there.
What was that for again?
So what I did there was my tag in, took it and wrapped it around. Creates a bit of bit of protection and a bit of an anchor point as well. So with the prawn there, when you cut thing on that, it's gonna stop it from going on. So plain and simple, that's a bream chase. That's what works.
One hook or 2 hooks?
I like to fish one hook, especially if I'm fishing jig. If I'm fishing circle, I'll fish double, but generally single hook. If I want to fish, I want to land it. I don't want to have another hook hanging around. And fishing for bream, I've got more pressure fishing for bream than actually targeting brusher. That's my luck. I can go throw crab the whole day for brusher and then go there, throw one bream chase, get a brusher. That's my luck, I guess. So that's my. So for edibles, it's basically the same concept on the trace. I might change the hook size, thickness of the line, or just the bead. So if there is a lot of current in the water, I normally make it with this, and these beads are not expensive. If there's a lot of current in the water, I just take a shocker hammer and smash it, and the bead will just break. So I don't want to break the bead on my trace.
So why would you break the bead?
If there's a lot of current, and surge or energy in the water, it tends to make your trace tangle up.
So you don't want the bead.
So I don't want the bead there. So I'll take it out. So I'll show you guys how easy it is to break this up. You can just hit it, but just be careful now when you're hitting it that you don't actually hit the line. So once it's flat on that, you can just use your hand and break it apart. Yeah, why I hit you with the chocker hammer, it's just easier. It normally just breaks apart. Like that. Yeah, also it softens. It softens with the water. But you can just do that and it peels out. and then you can just pull your bead off. I'd rather have it on than having to cut my hook stone, shorten my hook stone and put it on. Is there anything else before I help you guys with the leader knots that you want to see? Any trace that you specifically want to know about? Do you all want me to do a non-head trace? I don't think anybody will target non-heads, yeah? But if there is someone that wants to do FMJ, I'm going to be here for some time afterwards. I will can help you guys out.
We need this on camera.
Get involved. So legally, there's nothing wrong with swimming because you're allowed to take one shark and one ray
A day.
and a day. So there's nothing wrong with it, but guys do frown about it. Generally, what we do
Or
is
you mean swimming out
a gray shark, like 5 to 10 kilo gray, diamonds 50 kilos, 60 kilos, and that you specifically targeting like Zambies, tigers, that 100 to 200 kilo fish. So that
If you lose the trace in that kind of trace in the mouth of a shark, how do you know? How long does it take for it to spit it out? I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
It won't spit out. It'll corrode out.
Rust off, yeah.
It'll corrode out. So
I mean,
generally what happens is that barb there would rust off first, and once that rust off, by him moving around, shaking around the hook, when it just comes out. But remember that when doing this now, guys, you have to be 100%. Like when I swim, I'm swimming with a lever type. I'm swimming with the LD60. I'm swimming with 6.60 to 1.65 fishing tool leaders, thick cable. So when you hook, you know you're gonna land. You're not gonna go do the stuff here and go swim with 50-pound braid and 80-pound braid. Look, 80 pound you can get away, but it's also a risk. Remember, you don't want to hurt the fish as well. So, yeah, that's something fun if you guys ever want to see it. It's dangerous on your guide and your knot. So that's why I never put a uni.
So the FG or the PR
It's
would be
smooth.
the best.
Yeah, it'll go very smooth. So that's your whole knot. That's your whole knot. Joining my main leader,
And
my
that's
main line to it.
that's from braid to braid.
That's braid to braid. You can do braid to mono as well.
Also with the PR.
With the bobbin.
What do you put over here?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah, that's because it binds itself so tight onto it that it actually feels like smooth.
Some people put mono inside as well.
Yeah, you can. You want it to bite onto your braided leader. So the whole thing about this thing is like the Chinese what's the thing called? The Chinese finger lock thing.
It
When
actually
it
ends
pulls
up very
apart, it gets tighter.
It gets very stiff, right?
Yeah, because that's the amount of tension that you put on it.
I was trying to figure out whether you had something else.
No,
Kind of like
no.
feels
It
like that, yeah.
goes
Yeah.
there. It goes there. You'll see it. So I'll do it on mono. So if your guys want to spin or whatever, same concept with mono or braid. Okay, so your main line coming out of your reel.
It's stiff now for this
I'm
shark.
just gonna thread it through my bobbin there, pull it out there, and then that little rubber that's there, it's the locking part. So I'll lock it in there. Just make sure it goes in. You can twist here. Easier way for me is just to come in there and pull a bit of line and wrap it. So I go generally about 6.
It's same concept as the fly fishing bobbin.
Concept same, but the fly fishing bobbin doesn't have tension.
Yeah, it doesn't have tension.
This has
Yeah,
a bit of
yeah.
drag washes in that bit.
Yeah.
So my friend actually modified one.
Uh,
So he bent the ends of the fly one,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and he created it more stiffer, and he uses it. And I also tried to break that thing.
It didn't
It
break.
works. It works for him.
So the fly fishing thing works.
It works. If you bend, whatever he did, he made it work. But as I said, I got trust issues. I'd rather spend $100 more than do it. Okay, so basically lie your line next to each other. So this is my, let's call it my braided leader and my mono, whatever leader you want to put on. This is my main line that we thread through the bobbin. I'm lying it through. I'm just going to wrap it around, right? My hand, just to get a better grip. So basically, it's just next to each other. So call that going around there, clockwise. And the first loops that I'm doing are bigger gaps. They're not going to be tight. When I come to the end, I generally just give it a little 2 or 3 close, you guys can see that, close, tighter winds. Just that when I wind back on itself, it's easier to go through. Using my thumb at the end of the bobbin, I'm just gonna force it to go down onto itself, and then it's just basically wrapping it down over itself. My measurement is my pinky, so I know I want mine not to be that length. So I'll continuously do this. If I need to wrap more, I'll just do a couple more turns.
So you don't,
that's not done now.
so the,
Now I'm going to go on to my locking.
sorry, so the diameter of the line that you're using won't determine how many reps you get.
No. The
So
thing
you
is
just
with
decide that your pinky is going to be
that's, so I know that's my length that I like.
Okay.
You can go longer, but remember, the more longer you go, the more resistance, the more you're going to catch. You get complications where you can wrap around your guide and stuff if you go too long. Okay, so once we're there now, you stop there. Now it's just about doing half inches, granny knots, whatever you want to call it. So what I do is I do one this way. Make sure it locks. So when you're locking it now and you're pulling it, you'll actually feel like a tick. Like you'll know it's seated. Okay, so should pull it a bit there. So I went this way and I'm going to go from the back over. So I'll do this 4 times. 2 on either side, alternating it. Alright, so that's my 4th one. And then I do something called a risotto. So basically, take it over there, and then I wrap it 7 times, going around. And then now, once we're there, I got it the wrap 7 times, I unwind itself onto itself now. So
It's the same
I'm
thing you do
unwinding
with
it
the
here.
FG knot.
Yeah, similar. Okay, so how you know you did it right, you'll see your loop sitting like that. Then basically pulling your tie again. And this here is just a locking knot, causing it not to go through. So if I'm fishing mono, personally I stop there. But if I'm fishing the braided leader, what I like to do is this sometimes tends to open. So the guys do put super glue there, they do put UV knots in there. The guys like to put super glue so it also creates like a more smoother flow through. If I'm fishing with my braided leader, I'll lift this tie again. So my leader tie again, if you want to call it that just for now. I'll lift it here and I'll create the same lock behind it. So that if your knot opens up, if your risotto opens up or your half inches open up, it's not getting to my main lock, it's going to be there. Right, and it doesn't, I'll just do a couple half inches to show you guys what it looks like at the end.
So you'll use half inches to lock it.
I'll use half inches first and then I'll do the same thing with risotto again behind it. It's just that because sometimes I throw a lot harder than normal guys. Like sometimes I'll put a bit force and with bigger weights. And this continuously going in and out your guide tends to open. So you can also just use a lighter and mushroom the head of it there. So that's your PR done.
Nothing this side, eh?
Nothing.
No. So on your mono there's nothing.
No, nothing. There's no need to. Because as it works as a Chinese finger thing, it's the more it pulls out, the more it grabs into the mono. So I like to use that when I'm spinning as well. It's more streamlined, pulls through the water.
And for the FG versus this thing?
Same.
Much over muchness.
Same. To me personally, it's the same thing. Where is it? Rudolph? Do you have a preference between a FG and a bobbin?
No, I like the FG because I'm used to it.
Yeah, I think it comes down to what you like. Like for me, I like the bobbin because I'm just faster, easier for me.
Yeah, no, it's no difference in the FG. The bobbin's easier than the FG. I would say. The
Yeah,
bulkier.
but it's also how you do it.
But yeah, you know, they're both strong.
They
Whatever
both.
you like, there's no difference. Yeah.
So I always tell guys that the bobbin is a lot easier to do than the FG.
Yeah.
But with coming from the older age, you know, the ancient age when Rudolph was around, they had no bobbins and all, so they had to play with their fingers like this and weave. So yeah.
The bobbin is
Bobbin for me, especially when there's wind around.
well, the FG, I just wanted